This video is being brought to you by SQL Server 2012 tutorial.com. For new updates and lessons, please visit our website or blog. So today our topic basically is to cover new SQL commands that are available in SQL 2012. I am connected to my named instance on my machine, and now I am going to load up a script that will guide us through some of the new Transact SQL features that are available in SQL Server 2012. And for the demo purposes, we are going to be using Northwind sample database that has been around for a number of years. So let's get going. The first item that we will be looking at is the sequence command. This feature has been around in Oracle for a number of years and is finally available in MS SQL 2012. So think of a sequence basically as an object that provides functionality similar to the identity object, which is the autonumber column. The sequence object can be used with more than one table, so that's a little bit different, which is not possible in the identity object. And this is also useful when you have a, let's say, a parent-child table and you would like to know the value before you are inserting the records. So the best way to do this is to look at some examples. So let's do that. So in order to get started, you have to use the create sequence command. You give it a name, and then you say what are you starting the sequence with, and then what are you going to increment it by. So at this point we are starting our sequence with 1 and we are going to increment by 5. So our sequence, if this works, should be something like 1, 6, 11 and whatnot. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this part and then go ahead and execute this. I apologize for that. I'm getting some kind of error here. So I may have been practicing. I did get an error, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that sequence first. I was testing a few things, so let's start over again. So I'm going to use the create sequence command, and I'm just going to execute this part. Just hit F5 on that. And in fact, let me do this. I'm going to go ahead and move this down a little bit. Now our DB sequence is ready to be used. And the way you get this is you go select next value for DB sequence. So now my value should be 1. If I hit this again, it should be 6, 11, 16. So you get the idea. Okay. Now that's not very useful as far as just generating a value. I really want to kind of show you with a table. So let's go through this code. We are going to be essentially creating another sequence. Now this time we are incrementing by 3. We also create a table called products extension. Not a whole lot in here, just an ID column and a name column in here. And then we are going to use the insert statement, but instead of using your classic values format, I'm going to use next value for ID sequence for my ID, and then I'm just going to enter this string in the second column. Okay, and so let's go ahead and do this. We are going to maybe run this in parts. So I'm going to run this part first, then I go on to creating a table. If you do a select from the table, obviously there should be nothing in it. Okay, and now I'm going to run this. Let's run it 3 times. Okay, so the first time your ID should be 1. You run it again, it should be 4, and then you run it one more time, it should be 7. At least that's what I think. Now when I do a select, this part down here is where it's showing you the sequence. So the sequence is definitely a useful feature. If you if you want to do use that with your related tables, I would highly recommend that. So let's go on to the next one. I'm going to go ahead and drop the table, drop the sequence for now. So there are quite a few new date functions in SQL Server 2012. I'm going to show you a couple of them and then highlight some of the other ones. So the first one is called DateFromParts function. What this really does is it's going to take 3 different integer values and then build a date out of them. Okay, and then the next function is the EOFMonth, end of month function. This is very useful because many applications really need the last day of a particular month. And you had to do funky SQL logic before, but this function will let you do just that. So let's take a look at this code. I am declaring some variables here first. Okay, then I am setting the value. So I'm setting a date for September 28, 2012, and the idea is that you may be getting different parameter values, and then at the end of the day you would like to make a date out of that. Okay, so you do that by this command right here. I'm going to highlight this part. Apologize again. Alright, so let's try this. Okay, so when I ran this, notice that my date now is September 28. Again, you could change this. You could make this October if you wanted to. Okay, and now what you're getting is basically a date out of the function. Okay, so that one's not maybe as useful, but the next one is definitely I've had to use some stuff like that at my work. So you declare a variable, you set a date, and then you want to find out for this month, August, what is the last end of the month date basically. So I'm highlighting this and then I'm going to run it. So now it's telling me that, well, end of the month is August 31. Let's try something else. I'm going to go to February. I believe it's a leap year, but we'll just find out here. See, so that's very useful because leap year is typically kind of tricky to find out how to do that. So that's nice. Some other useful date functions, I will just highlight these. This is time from parts, date time from parts, small date from parts, and then the last one. If you want to learn more, this is what I would recommend, that you go to MSDN site